Good morning. This morning we're going to talk about Messiah. The title of this devar is Hashem conceals himself in the text, but reveals himself in the footnotes. The value of Aggada. When Messiah arrives, his weapons won't be rifles and bombs. They'll be words, his words, spoken and written. He'll be the greatest Torah scholar ever. The revolution of Messiah will be found where Messiah is found, amidst the footnotes of our Mizorah. Speaking of historical footnotes, many of our sages write that it will be the words of our holy women which will inaugurate the Messianic age. See the Zohar on Proverbs 30:10-30. A woman of valor is a crown to her husband, and the many commentaries thereon. Footnotes. Writers write them and readers ignore them. The usual excuse is that the reader lacks the time, education, or inclination to do so. It's understandable but disappointing. A personal story. When my thesis advisor saw how many footnotes I had put into my first submitted paper, he threatened to disable my computer's footnote key, until he actually took the time to sit down and read those footnotes. Suffice it to say, the footnotes stayed in the paper and are there to this very day, because that's where I hide the stuff that's too radical to say in the main text. The best example of this is my devar entitled The Ram of Yitzhak, A Different Perspective. The juicy stuff is in the footnotes. I don't do this because I think I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm not, and I know it. I do it because that's what our sages, who are supposed to be our role models, did when they wrote the Tanakh's Aggada. The scornful and uninformed might find Aggada to be a collection of juvenile, unbelievable, untrue, and largely useless fairy tales. Such people, soul snatchers, teach some of these stories to their children as fables, suitable to an immature consciousness and not the bailiwick of an adult. May God protect us. But to me, Shemayim is lots of holy swarm with every Aggada in them that's ever been written, where I have the language skills and seichel to read and comprehend all of the author's carefully crafted footnotes. This can even be said of my ham-fisted efforts at footnoting my work. The footnotes are better than the other stuff I write, because our sages hid the secrets of the Tanakh in the Aggada. That's what the Aggada is for. And when it comes to the secrets of God's Torah, I am insatiable. I want to know all of them right now. So that's why I hide the juicy stuff in my footnotes. And that's why I say that Hashem conceals himself in the written text and reveals himself in the allegorical footnotes. That is, Hashem reveals himself in the empty spaces between the letters of the text, just as he revealed himself between the two cherubim in the Kadosh Kadoshim of the Beis HaMikdash. That's why one of the most commonly used phrases in the Holy Zohar, the greatest Aggada of them all, is "Come and see." For when prophecy ceased, it was transferred to the sages, and the sages saw prophetically what is written in those blank spaces. These are the Torah's footnotes, and these footnotes are to be found in the Aggada.